I'd rather get that from somebody else than Steven. Steven doesn't seem like the sport guy
Well, I
of
was
the
just
show.
saying, yeah, and Steven also that I didn't mean to make Batman's third leg that
Should
big.
I
It
play
was,
that clip again?
no,
Wait,
no,
why does he have
no.
3
Are
legs?
you sure?
Well,
Yeah.
it was AI. AI decided to make him like me.
Either
Doobie did.
What did he just? Did that
wow,
just
if
happen?
you're gonna try to jump in, have a mic that works. Boop-dee-boop-dee-doo.
Yeah, his bathroom studio.
I'm trying. Okay.
Hey, no matter what, you're gonna still pass me. Do I need to have a meltdown this year and then come back vicious and all ready to go?
No,
I mean, it
You
worked
haven't
for
already
me.
done that?
what you need to do is tell everybody how over you are something by talking about it endlessly.
That's how you do it, man. That's how you get subs.
That's how you know somebody's
You
really
find
over
something
it.
and run with it.
It doesn't even have to be real.
It's real. It's just every video. Toxic females. What happened to Priya?
You know what I love? I love people, and this isn't specifically Steven. I know it's going to sound like I'm talking about Steven specifically. I'm
It
not.
is about Steven.
It's not, but I love how people will go on Twitter and be like, if you think that you're affecting me in any way, you're wrong. I'm not even thinking about you. Why are you?
Oh yeah, that's the Walton method, we call it.
Why are you putting that out on Twitter if you're not one? Clearly you are, because you're tweeting it. And two, oh man.
Listen, I'll tell you something
It's
I've
victim
learned.
support, Matt.
I've learned something. Walton, I think, just coined a market that the therapist and Nazis, the therapist like cartel will come and get them.
Nazis,
You say Nazis?
that's
Well,
a
they
new
might be
one.
Nazis. You never know. He
What,
literally.
were you trying to say Nazis didn't have therapists?
Right, that's true. What he did was instead of, going out there and spending all the money and talking to someone who just keeps asking questions back, when you're looking for answers, really making you figure it out. He just kept making videos after video after video and solved it on his own. And now look at him. He's rising up
It
in
worked.
the
Hey,
YouTube.
look, the one thing you can't deny about Nazi therapists is that they always had a solution.
Jeez.
And it was the only solution needed.
Drop it
Some may say the
bombs.
final one.
Yep.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. It is Saturday night. It is Talking Random.
Can I say one more thing about that?
Yeah, please.
Not about the solution thing, but I like how Steven mixes in the, let's talk about it. Let's do therapy. Also, if you need a spell to cast them off of you, here's what you do.
I
You're
gave
gonna
one
take
spell. I gave out one spell, man. What are you
Right.
one
trying to
spell.
say?
Bitch,
One.
that shit was 5 paragraphs long.
And it
No,
didn't,
it's
Yeah,
good.
it's
I
too
do
long.
good
You need a short version.
and it didn't work.
You gotta put in the work.
That's right. Thank
Yeah,
you,
if
Tina.
you want to get rid of somebody, I got a spell too. It's called 9mm FMJ. You only need one.
That also works.
So
Jacob.
All right. Jacob, what
All right.
ingredients do I need for that spell?
Yeah. Okay, so
Hey,
Hello,
Steven,
everybody.
how many names do you have in
Oh,
Ziploc
Jesus, I
bags
lost
in your
it.
freezer?
None at
That's
the
a
moment.
thing y'all
I don't
do.
have a freezer.
Y'all know that thing where like
No, I don't.
women were like, I never want to talk about him or see him again. So you write his name down, you put it in a Ziploc, and you put it in the freezer.
sounds like something
If you do it
know.
with a zucchini or another phallic item, you can cause impotency too.
Oh my god!
Where are we
This
having
one.
multiple different conversations right now? One's freezing names of men, the other one's phallic with zucchini. I'm
I
confused.
mean, no, they're all related. So
we are talking
they're
random.
all they're all rituals. So
Spencer, maybe I'll just have you on next time.
I mean,
so
you're
how
all
is everybody?
devil worshippers anyway. So what does it
We
matter?
really need to bring back burning at the stake.
Well,
Dude, you say what you want. It
It
was
worked.
effective.
It was
worked.
effective.
It was. I mean,
I like that
punishment.
better than drowning the witches.
Yeah, and not even for that. I'm just
As long as
saying
we're
in
digging through the
general,
ditches.
Like you could
Good
literally.
song.
You can literally walk out of a store with $900 worth of stuff and the owner will get in trouble for stopping you. I think it's not working and we should be able to bring back like like I don't know, like
Dueling.
the town center punishments. Putting somebody in the like those. What is that?
Yeah, the
Bring back
gallows.
dueling,
Is that the
Scott.
gallows?
Wait,
Yeah,
what is it? What are
Oh,
those
the
things
gallows
called?
is where they hang them. I forget.
Yeah, the gallows.
Yeah.
They hang them. Where's the
You're
thing where
talking
you
the
put your
one
arms
that-
and head?
Offers them up to the town
Oh,
to rape.
shackles.
Well,
Wait, what?
Yeah,
what?
I thought it
what
was
left
to
turn was
throw
that?
things at.
No, that's
I thought you
what
were
happened.
Ridicule.
just late night drunk guys. Look at
Yes.
that ass.
Yeah,
Oh my
exactly.
God.
That would happen all the time.
Okay. I did not know that.
Stocks. I think Spencer got it in the chat. They're called stocks.
Stocks.
The
Yes.
stocks.
Thank you,
Yes.
Spencer.
The
Got
That's
a
stocks.
member
the
chat,
ones.
Scott.
I see it, and you actually can see it on StreamYards now, which is
Hey,
cool.
wino, are you horny? But nobody will stop long enough for you to have sex with him. Come over to the stocks. We offer a variety of different.
Yeah, the stockades actually. But
Oh, yeah, the
if
stockades.
it's like, do you want the bum that peed on the street corner, or the husband that hit his wife, or the witch? She met.
Ew,
made
gross,
men
not the
have sex
witch.
with them.
Deej,
So
I
many
hope you
more than
finished.
men.
Deej, I hope you finished before you came onto this stream. He was on NyQuil, and he said he was going to try and, get off before he passed out. And just wanted to make sure.
Good for you, Deej.
Yeah.
Zombie
That's one of
Box
the great
Reviews.
difficulties of life.
You gotta fight it. Zombie Box Reviews member for a month says, "Hail, my fellow sporkers." Hail to you, my friend. Thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate it. I
Oh, dude,
definitely appreciate it.
Hey, I'll offer my services. If anybody needs to duel and needs a referee, I am on board. I will referee.
Like count the paces out.
No, they have to count their own paces out, but I'll make sure that they
No,
don't
that's
skip
the
numbers.
problem, dude.
Good
The-
man.
Mm.
Good man, Matt.
You're supposed to have a third dude who counts it for you.
No, you're not.
Yeah, totally.
No,
What
did you
happens
see
if I
John
do
Wick?
a faster walk? Like you're like 1, 2, and I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I turn around and it gives me time to line up. You gotta have somebody counting it off.
Well, that was Andrew Jackson's strategy because he was in a ton of duels. He had so many musket balls in him, they called him bag of marbles. Anyway, what he would do,
Yeah, go ahead,
he was caning. It's where you get hit
Oh.
with a cane.
dude. I'm not gonna say what I thought it said. I was like, canning?
Anyway,
They make
yeah.
them can?
So
Like,
Andrew
ooh,
Jackson
I
would
hate olives.
let them shoot first because he's thinking, well, they're gonna be nervous and gonna try to do it real quick, and then after they're done, I can take my time and line up the shot.
That's why he shot so many people in the back.
But he won.
He shot him on the
I think
White
he
House
won.
wall.
Yeah. Yeah, but what has he done lately?
Not
True.
much, man. Oh, actually, no.
All
Andrew
the natives are
Jackson?
gone. There's nothing for him to do.
Okay, first of all, Andrew
The
Jackson
movie's so boring.
is immortal. Have you ever
Or is
seen?
he like Keanu?
No. He literally was Epstein. Now Epstein.
Oh, yeah, true.
faked
He
his
even has the
death.
same scar on his chin.
Dude, same scar, same like crow's feet. It's terrifying.
What?
Wait,
They
no.
also lived in the same house.
No, I didn't know that.
Andrew Jackson has scars on both sides of his face, right?
Well, from the $20 bill or portraits where he's turned that direction,
Yeah,
there's like a scar here, and
Yeah.
I mean, dude, they
But
line up.
he had no, he
perfectly.
has two because when he was a POW, the only president we ever had to be a POW, when he was like 12 in the Revolutionary War, some British dude was like, "Shine my boots," and he goes, "Fuck your ass," and then sliced his face.
What?
That's a true story.
culture.
But did he get his boots shined or his ass fucked?
Was he in stockades? Oh, is that where we get stockings from? Like, because it's sexy.
What?
What?
Wow.
What? That's
He took a weekend off for that joke. Well
I
done.
really did, dude. I don't know if I really took a weekend off. I spent like 6 hours outside in a garage cleaning it up. So like
As
in-
men should do on their
Yeah,
days
it's true. It's true.
God, good for you, Scotty, doing man stuff.
Shut the hell. I always do man stuff, Walton. Okay.
When the wife says it's all right, I know.
Oh,
yeah,
somebody
I
did
definitely
try.
have permission.
Somebody tried to assassinate Andrew Jackson, but his pistol misfired. So he pulled out another pistol, and it misfired, and Andrew Jackson beat him with his cane.
Didn't he take one in
He
the
goes-
chest?
That was during a duel. Yeah, he took one in the chest from a writer, Hemingway. Not that Hemingway, a different one.
Yeah.
And then he just lined up a shot and shot him in the neck and killed him. And they were like, "That's not cool, bro."
Dude, if you try to kill someone, you misfire with 2 guns. You just walk
Yeah.
into traffic at that point. I mean,
That's why Andrew Jackson said, "My cane's always loaded, bitch," and then beat him. That's a direct quote.
Wow.
The Queen's
They
English.
really should have put that on the bill.
My cane is always loaded, bitch.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Tim Burton says he went back to basics for filming Beetlejuice 2. Shit, that
Really?
is actually happening. I totally forgot.
Wait, what now?
Who said
Beetlejuice
this?
Beetlejuice 2. I just saw something about that.
Tim
Is
Burton's
anybody-
doing it?
Yeah, Burton and I think the whole.
Michael
Well,
Keaton.
Keaton's back and what's her name's back.
Winona's
What
coming
up,
back.
Mark?
Oh, that one. Yeah, okay. Well,
What?
yeah, that thing. Oh,
Beetlejuice?
yeah, right.
Okay. Good conversation.
It's demonic.
Mark, what's going on, brother?
No, it just
All right,
didn't
how's
hear.
it going? Just dropped my
going
kid
well.
off over by the carnival, hanging out with his friends over there.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, yeah,
Nothing ever
hopefully
goes
he doesn't
wrong
call
there?
And I gotta.
No.
I'm
I love
saying, I hear the fireworks off in the distance. I at least hope they're fireworks.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
Oh, I
Today's
meant
day.
more like aliens or monsters. Like, how many scary movies have you? They're like, let's go to the carnival. Yes, Final Destination.
All I'm ever
That's
worried
where my
about.
mind
Hey,
goes.
that movie always works out well for them in the end.
My biggest fear is like riding one of those like scramblers and all of a sudden my car just goes flying because you look at
Right.
those carny folk.
I always tell them, don't ride the wild stuff at carnivals,
Yeah.
especially those traveling carnivals, because you
Yeah.
know they're put together all crappy.
Oh yeah, no one's checking it.
Their business
they've-
plan is literally built around let's get to the next town as quick as possible before they realize how many people we killed here.
Right.
That's why they're
Exactly.
always moving.
They've launched so many kids over the years. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? So I just tell them, be careful.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
definitely.
there just to check out the chicks anyway. So
Yeah,
Well,
but
God,
see, that's the
John
problem,
Batman.
though. Some chick be like, "Oh my god, Mark's son, I want to go onto this ride," because I figured that's what the chick would call him. Mark's son, I
What
want
was
to
that
go on this
accent?
ride.
It's
My chick. It's like
Was she
the
Dutch?
chick at it. This carnival
Is she,
chick. Anyway,
is she Asian? Is that your Asian?
no, that's
Are
not
you
my
talking
Asian.
about the worker?
I
there?
pronounced
Was
all
she
my
a
L's.
gypsy?
Gypsy.
No, Gypsy would be more like Brad Pitt in Snatch. You know,
Yeah, but I thought
That's
gypsies
but that's a
were carny
pikey.
folk.
isn't that a gypsy?
Yeah, well, no, those gypsies are more like Romani versus traveling gypsies.
You learned something.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
the
point
same?
was, women will get you killed. That's what I was saying. They'll convince you to ride a ride that you shouldn't be on, and then next thing you know, you're flying through the air. And she's like, "Oh my god, I didn't know that was gonna hop on like that." Oh,
She's just grabbed
Oh,
my
so she's
channel.
a valley girl.
didn't
Yes.
know that was gonna happen.
yeah.
And
Like, oh my god, what am I ever gonna do? I gotta TikTok this right now.
I just saw
Yeah.
My Insta's gonna be crazy.
I just saw Birth of the Dragon today. And Asian people, it kind of worked my way to that. It's like the Bruce Lee versus the
Godzilla.
a Shaolin monk. God, I forget his name.
Oh, you talking about that
Birth of
movie
the
from like
Dragon?
7 years
Yeah,
ago?
it's old.
Yeah.
It's like 4 or 5 years
Okay.
ago. It's Birth
Yeah,
of the Dragon.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
And
that came out in like 2016 or 17.
Yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
was the-
Wait, wasn't that the Bruce Lee movie where Bruce Lee wasn't even the main character?
No,
Not
it was
really,
the movie
no.
about him.
The white
It was
guy
like
was.
this mythical fight between him and this Shaolin monk, and people were arguing that this guy actually beat Bruce Lee, but nobody saw it. So the whole movie is based around that fight
Right,
that
he-
may or may not.
yeah.
have
You
happened.
said it's
And-
old. You said it's old, man. It's like I'm thinking like Casablanca or something like
Yeah,
that.
no,
You're like,
that
yeah,
old.
about 4
No.
years ago.
Yeah.
It's like 7,
Don't
but
eat
yeah,
too
sure.
much
I
into
know.
it, Mark.
Jacob gets angry when he's like, "That movie was 5 years ago."
Yeah,
Right,
I
you
agree
know,
with
that movie
Mark. You need
sucked.
to reevaluate
It
what you
wasn't
think is
good.
old.
I have to say the guy who played the Shaolin monk was good. But like, I was for once someone who played Bruce Lee like a dick. Like he was a dick. You know,
Wait,
like
they did that in
just-
No,
Once
he's
Upon a Time
starting
in
to sound like
Hollywood.
Tarantino
Once
there.
on Hollywood, yeah.
Yeah.
And then people got
Started
angry
in-
at Tarantino because it's like, that's not my Bruce Lee. Well, it's like, well,
Well, that's
Yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Well, well, Bruce Lee's dead if that's the case.
Yeah, learn how to stop a bullet.
We never butcher the British accent. All right. Anyways, sorry about that.
they're doing another one of those movies too. They're bringing back The Crow. So
Yeah. Oh, who's playing the
Leave
chick?
it
I
go.
forgot.
All right, guys, I gotta head off. I gotta go do some mini golf. I'll catch you
All right,
later.
Grant.
Hey, tell
See ya.
tell Rhino, thanks for being on the
Oh,
last.
have fun on the putt putt
Year.
course.
Sort
Bye.
Tell him to say hi to Yellow Flash.
imagine being an arm
Like a
racer for
shade,
that
right?
movie.
Oh, I'll shame the shit out of everybody now.
And imagine being the armory for the remake of The Crow.
Right? You're like, oh boy.
Dude, let me triple check that.
Yeah, exactly.
I think in this version of The Crow, there are no guns.
Yeah.
all the
Like,
guns are going to
be
be
careful.
CGI.
Yeah. I don't want any of the
Right.
Baldwins near this movie. Shit.
Except for Steven. He seems okay, right?
He's pretty cool.
Steven's
was in
probably the
Biodome.
only one who actually handled a firearm in that family.
He's pretty base, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the crazy
Yeah.
one.
Seems it.
Yeah, he seems it. Shit, what was I gonna bring?
I mean,
up?
isn't Alec the crazy one? I mean, you know, he's
Yes.
kind of
He's
psycho
the,
and
no,
kills
he's
someone,
the
right?
murderous one. The
Oh.
murderous one, the crazy one, the sensitive one.
The terrible.
Yeah, you know, like a boy band.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ooh, what's
Yep.
your favorite boy band? Mine's Together.
Together.
Yeah, they did the song Calculus. You know, I know my calculus. It says you plus me equals
I love how you
us.
said that like we would all know it. Like you know that song?
Together.
I know my calculus. No, nobody?
No.
You,
Look
you
it
know
up.
A
It
lot
has
of
a
that
movie.
obscure stuff, man. You must be great with
It
Trivia Pursuit.
it was a movie they did on MTV, and they actually became a real band. It was mocking boy bands at the time, so they had this band to get her together. And they actually hit
yeah,
it
okay.
big. Yeah, they hit
I
it big.
remember now.
Yeah, one of the songs was Kleptomaniac. You know, stole your cat, ex-girlfriend. You know, she stole everything. No,
I don't know about that, man.
No,
Didn't
not
know
that
that.
deep into it, but I remember the band.
yeah. I didn't have the tape.
You know every word.
You know every word, don't you?
No.
Come on, be honest with
Oh,
us.
Billy Baldwin. There's somebody saying something different than me.
Billy Baldwin's the normal
Is
one?
the normal
Yeah,
one?
it sounds right. He's probably the one no one remembers. So
Was
Who
he
the
the one
fuck-
He's
that
the
was
unemployed
So
one.
there's-
Yeah.
Because
Was
there's
he the
4, right?
ghost?
Alec.
I don't know if
Alex,
there's 4. We can
Steven,
all agree
Billy.
there's too many.
Yeah.
Well, Steven was the Biodome one, right?
Yeah.
Steven's Biodome, definitely.
Billy was low level B movie.
He was like
Baldwin.
the what was that superhero movie, The Shadow? Was that Billy?
That was Alec.
That was
No, it
Alec.
wasn't. Was
So who
it?
was in
Yeah.
Homicide, the TV show?
Duh.
That was a Baldwin brother. Was in there.
Raul?
Raoul
No?
Anyway.
Okay,
Baldwin?
I'm just asking. Jesus.
there a
everyone goes
Raoul?
silent.
Daniel
So
Baldwin.
there's 4 of
Daniel
them. There's
Baldwin.
there's-
Alec, who's the murderous one. Then there's Daniel, who looks like a fat version of Alec. And then you have Billy, who looks like the Steven. And then we have Steven, who is Biodome. So that's the easiest way to tell
Biodome.
them
There's
apart.
like 4 of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Daniel was
Cool.
definitely the one in Homicide. So I remember he was the bigger guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna talk about a couple topics, but I wanted to show this one first from George R.R. Martin and his not a blog, which is a blog, which you know.
Did he get fatter?
I don't know. It looks like a scary
Who is
mugshot.
this?
So this was
I would agree.
this was August 31st. I don't know if this is the most recent. I didn't check today, but he put this out. He put but especially these times, like ... We're supposed to like come into the conversation midway, I guess. But especially these times we are living in, when free speech is under attack as seldom before, book banning has become pandemic, and now some are even threatening arrests for teachers and librarians who give students the wrong books to read. And I want to crush him right now. He's my favorite author, but if he's talking about parents that are upset that like 4th graders and 3rd graders are getting access to books about blowjobs and gay sex and things of that nature, then
Or
yes.
sex in general.
Yeah. I mean, they're under the age of 18. There is a difference. So he put, he got this quote, Goebbels? That's the Nazi, right?
Goebbels? There's no R in there.
Goebbels?
I mean, there's an obvious
Goebbels?
joke being made here.
Goebbels?
But,
I can
we're
never
on
say his
YouTube,
name.
So.
Don't do it, Jacob.
He was the
Goebbels?
he was the one that was the propaganda guy, wasn't he?
Goebbels, yeah.
You just threw an R in there. Someone pronounce it for me.
That's the way I'd always
I'm
heard it
saying
pronounced.
Goebbels.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
I'd
always
say
heard it as Goebbels. Anyways, was in favor, someone in the chat will know, and they'll say it. Was in favor of free speech for views he liked. So was Stalin. If you're really in favor of free speech, then you're in favor of freedom of speech for precisely the views you despise. Otherwise, you are not in favor of free speech.
They take the
And let me
one.
guess, somebody's angry at this.
They take the one thing that Noam Chomsky ever said that was worth a shit, and they're like, "See, this is why you should like. That's why schools should have their kids read all this shit. You know,
And
all
that's
this
the
shit. You know,
right there. Like, I agree with this quote 100%.
because Noam was not
100%.
talking anything about this whatsoever.
But the
nothing
reason,
near this.
right? The reason why we came in, you know, without him giving any information of what these books are, like he left out the major part of why we are trying to keep books out of kids' hands. Like my 9-year-old should not be reading. And there's on YouTube, parents at PTA meetings and school board meetings reading books where the school board tells them this is inappropriate, and they're like, this is access to my 5th grader has access to this book, so how are you telling me this is inappropriate here? You know what I mean? Like, so he's twisting it right here. He's trying to like, yeah, he's doing what, like, okay, you conservatives really like free speech, well, here's this. It's disrespectful, and it's
disingenuous, because I mean,
that's the word
the second that, you know, someone says what that UFC fighter said on the show earlier tonight in any kind of public discourse, they'll flip on this entire ideology in a dime. So stop. It's not even like worth acknowledging as a serious argument. These people only pretend to be pro free speech when it suits them.
Yeah, this is complete bad faith. Yes,
intellectually dishonest, bullshit. In other words,
bullshit.
You know, it has nothing to do with free speech. Like you said, it has to do with protecting the kids, like your medicine cabinet, keep out of reach of children. You know, that's a whole different context. So you're trying to conflate the two, and he's being.
This is the same dishonest. People who will turn around and go, "Oh, it's freedom of speech, not freedom of consequences." Like they'll say that to you completely unironically.
It's weird to hear somebody talk about, "Oh, they're burning books in one specific place for one specific age group. This is an outrage." What? It's not as if these books are being banned nationwide to where you can't even order it on Amazon.
Is that
it's really disturbing how they all have to stay on the same page? No pun intended. But you know what I mean? Like everybody in showbiz, Hollywood, all of them, they all have to sing the same tune. Otherwise, they're going to get canceled. So it's almost like exactly what he's saying in reverse, because he knows if he says something different, he doesn't have free speech. So, you know, he has to play the same game, the same sick game as everybody else.
It's not about the speech. It's about the market they're trying to put the speech in. They're trying to make it, they're trying to push it on children where nobody wants it. Well, the parents don't. It has nothing to do with free speech.
Which I'm fine with, as long as it's things that I agree with.
That's what he's saying.
Right.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Right. And the problem I have is the idea that these people who consider, like George the feminist, George the liberal, like you're lying, you're literally lying to people right now with that statement. You're not telling, or maybe you're not lying, but you're leaving out and you're allowing them to like
it's dishonest by
it's dishonest.
It's dishonest by omitting by omission. Because you're leaving out.
This is the guy who writes stories about brothers sleeping with their sisters and people getting their dicks cut off and all of that stuff. You know what I mean? So he's far from the person that you're going to go to for anything wholesome, and you know.
Right. And but he wrote those for adults. You know, like.
Oh no! To hear him tell it, why not give it to the kids? Right. Yeah.
You know, a lot of people believe. The reason why he hasn't finished the books is because he realizes that if he does come out with a book that's violent towards women and gays and this and that, he will have to go under the attack of his friends, because they will all dogpile on top of him.
Yep.
I wonder if he would be cool if you. All right, well then we're gonna put your book into these libraries for these elementary age kids. You think you'd be like, I think that's a good idea. They should read more about this guy getting his dick cut off
and sleeping with his sister.
Right. I mean, you think he would think it would be a good idea for kids in 5th grade, 6th grade to read his work?
Depends on how much he's sold out. You know, when you get to a certain part, you know, in the echo chamber, you're expecting money. You need exposure. You're going to sell out.
I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about on a moral level.
No, about what morals does he have at this point? If he's so ingrained into the echo chamber of Hollywood, and he's not able to say the wrong thing, or he loses access, he loses his ability to speak freely, then why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he just say, "Yeah, go ahead, absolutely. They should read about this." If that's what everyone around him is doing, if that's what he's being told, the direction that he's being led in, then I think he would. I don't trust Hollywood.
I mean, he's a communist in the first place. You know, he's one of these people that grew up in this, or was, you know, a teenager in the 60s, you know, a self-proclaimed feminist, you know, like in the 70s. He's one of those type of people that he believes his openness is something special, but it truly is something where you're actually like,
there's some shit you leave in the closet, Scott. There's the closet's there for a reason.
Steven has all kinds of things in his.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know. It's just, to me, it is. He is that he'll have people that, I mean, his fandom is rabid. That's the thing that bothers me about what he did here. It's like you can't say anything wrong about him. Like, the majority of his fandom attacks you. I've had it myself, like channels that I would watch and I enjoyed their content, but you know, they'll never talk about how long it takes George to write the book. He can't do anything wrong. And it's pretty much, if you say anything against them, they come down on you as like a horde of people. Just, they send people. It's crazy. It's the lefty leaning people that are just nuts, and they don't realize, dude, you literally are defending pornography for children. I don't get it.
Psychology.
I don't get it.
It's all about free speech, Scott. It's all about, it has nothing to do with trying to make put ideas in a child's head to make them more accessible to perverts, conversions, gender therapy, all of the nonsense that is being spewed out by the far left right now. It has nothing to do with the Alphabet Mafia. No, it's about freedom of speech.
It is all the same things that they complained about when Christianity was the main focus in schools, right? Like, oh, no, you're just trying to make these kids more acceptable to your ideology of Christianity. That's wrong. Oh, no, but this is cool, though. This is all right. That's not doing the same thing that we criticized you for.
Right.
Back in the day.
Rules for thee, not rules for,
A little
absolutely.
hypocritical.
Yeah, like Hollywood has absolutely no ground whatsoever to take a moral stance on anything. So anything that comes out of that place, it's like, just ignore it. It's a waste of breath to even address their argument.
No, valid, man. But you kind of have to, like, that's the stance a lot of us have taken for too long, is not addressing this stuff, because it's crazy. Yeah. This will never happen. I mean, it's like Mark. That's one of Mark's greatest things on Twitter is, I told you, we have to talk about this, because we all sane people will be like, nah, this will never become mainstream. These people are nuts. Look where we are now, because we don't talk and we allow YouTube to control our speech. We don't, not enough people are willing to move over to Rumble just to watch a video. It's like, because we're so just controlled that YouTube's the place to be. You know, it's just, they control everybody.
I think I'm pretty guilty of projecting my own morality onto others. So when I'm like, dude, there's no way that would happen, or that this person would do that, because I would putting myself into that situation. I would never make those choices, because it just goes against everything about me. And so a lot of times I struggle to remember that there are people that would do that have such a lack of morality. Did I say something funny? I
spilled all over myself.
This guy. There making a mess.
Dude,
he's making a good point, Scott.
This is why I'm never serious.
The ice bridged the water or dammed the drink for a second, then all of a sudden it just all went. Go on, please. I'm sorry.
No, it's too late. New Mexico's awesome.
What do they call it? Is it cognitive dissonance?
Yeah.
Is that what they call it? You know, where every, and that's the way we have it these days. What we have to remember is that it's not about what we believe. It's about what they believe. You know, so since they have this demonic thing going on and they're promised to this, no matter what, they are not going to stop until they screw everything up in everybody.
Absolutely.
You know, they want the kids They will not stop because this is the future. They will have them, you know. And people act like I hear them coming on. Yeah, I hear people coming on talking about, oh, I'm tired of talking about this. They're not tired of talking about this. They're gonna keep going, you know. And in the meantime, like I always say, kids, the rate of self-harm skyrocketing, depression skyrocketing, emotional problems. These are going to be the adults of tomorrow. You know, they've infiltrated our government. So, I mean, listen, we're probably the last of the generation that can actually talk about this.
Right. And
literally,
I'm pretty sure. Oh God, I'm blanking at the moment, but I'm pretty sure Martin is from New Mexico. I think that's where he is. It's either Arizona or New Mexico. But this was the governor of. Here, I've got to get to restart. The governor.
Oh no! What happened?
Well, this is the governor of New Mexico, and she had a couple ideas. Just a couple ideas.
No person other than a law enforcement officer or licensed security officer shall possess a firearm, either openly or concealed. We are suspending open and concealed carry. So effective.
And she went on to talk about also suspending free speech. But this is the thing that kills me. It's like because of their political moves and their oh God, I'm blanking on the word. Their own political, not ideology, but the things they put in place is the reason why they're having so much gun violence in that state right now. And what is their cure for it? Just no one can carry.
Scott, they put those in place to reach this point in time to where now they can justify suspending, quote unquote, the Second Amendment.
Right.
The reason why all of those policies were put into place was specifically for the violence to happen to this degree to justify what they wanted all along.
Look, this is all a test run to see how many people can they get to move forward with their plan, because they know that this is ultimately going to fail now, but what they're trying to gauge is how many people would in fact right now support a full-on gun ban. That's what they're trying to figure out here. It's like when people look back at like the whole 2020 situation with the COVIDs and the shots and all that other stuff. It's basically just a test run to see how many people can we get right now to comply, and unfortunately it's a lot more people than we would like to admit.
Well, it's terrifying if they do, because the people that legally own guns, if they actually follow this stupid emergency act, do you think the people with the gun violence are going to stop using their guns? You're a freaking moron if you think that. And for her to think telling legal owners of guns in New Mexico that they can't carry theirs to defend themselves, you're absolutely right, Mad. This is their way of controlling the populace and actually getting people killed, and then being like, look, see, guns kill people. No, it's people
criminals
that can't
don't follow
them.
laws, Scott.
Right. Absolutely.
And
they don't have a choice now.
The simple fact that we're still having this gun debate 3 years after what happened with the whole Summer of Love 3 years ago, when we saw what happened when people couldn't defend themselves with firearms and all the stuff that got burned down, all the people who were murdered in broad daylight on video. The fact that we're even still trying to have this conversation again as if that 3 years ago didn't happen, it's just kind of astounding to me.
I mean, studies just came out that the more vaccines you've gotten, the less the more likely you can get COVID than someone who didn't. I mean, there's studies out that already show that. So and now they want they're talking about masking up again. If somebody, I can't even respect somebody unless they have a health issue or they're older, wearing a mask, a young, healthy person, you're an idiot. It's a virtual sin,
You would think that all of these young athletes that are falling out, and I'm talking about like high school age, you look at your local news. I know I've been noticing it around here. Now that football season is picked up, another athlete, another football player collapsed. What was it, just last night?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. These are young kids, and people sitting there saying, oh, well, we don't know. Well, nobody is looking. Nobody is questioning.
No, they're not saying that they don't know. What they're saying is, 20-year-olds have always had heart attacks. You're just paying attention to it now. You're just making a big deal of it now.
It's gone up incredibly in percentage since the shot. Yeah.
I mean, they don't think about that on any level. It's not even just the jab and stuff. People need to start thinking about the fact that we've been made into a nation, probably a world of drug addicts. So everyone's taking a pill for something, you know, and I don't judge anyone, but you know, even if it's like anxiety, I mean, anything, you know, they got a pill for this, they got a pill for that, but they never think about what it actually does to people's brains and what it does to their minds. So when you start looking at violence, tendencies towards violence, so-called gun violence, there's something being triggered inside of us to begin with. That's causing us to pick up a weapon. That's causing us to choke each other out. People fighting on the trains and stuff like that. What is it?
I agree with all of that except for Adderall. Adderall is the exception because that shit is awesome.
It's awesome.
Well, I mean, you put more pharmaceutical companies make money. That whole industry. That's all it's about. You know, there's a lot of herbal remedies out there, vitamins. There are medicines, natural medicines that can be taken for a lot of these things that are not presented or vilified. If you that doesn't
sleep
work.
with more trees. That's what he's saying right now.
He has a valid point, though. That you're right, though. I mean, you're absolutely right. 100 years.
Look at what they did.
Getting rid of the things that helped people for 1,000.
And it's also the
deinstitutionalization
that's happened since the 70s. Like mental health is not a priority, and as a matter of fact, they're trying to promote more damaging mental health issues. You know, with gender conversion and these things. They're not trying to heal anyone. You're trying to destroy. Like we're going back to earlier what we were saying. They're trying to destroy and create a traumatic generation to spread that trauma. You know that they're trying to weaken us as a culture, as a people, through taking away anything that could help us to be healthy individuals and spreading ideas and medicines that they're making people unstable.
Dude. Remember a few years ago when they closed down all the gyms?
Yep.
You know, they closed out all the gyms, all the playgrounds. We couldn't do anything healthy. It was just straight up and down. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right. And you stick people in the dark, right? Make sure you're not communicating with each other. Make sure to be afraid of family members so you're not exchanging ideas or reinforcing positively
Can't go to church.
People in your own family. Can't go to church. Can't go to any place that gives you any kind of moral or ethical support structure. It was and isolate you, keep you in fear, and make sure to make sure you're not going outside getting sunlight. Anything that would help you be a healthier person. It's all about destroying our society from top to bottom, mental, emotional, spiritual, in every way.
And it's funny, Mark, that you said that because I've had people say, dude, why aren't you talking about Hollywood more and the movies and shit? I still love all that stuff. Like I just found a show. I've only watched 2 episodes because I think that's all they've released. But The Winter King, freaking awesome.
Is it good?
Legend. Oh, dude, it's violent.
Never heard of it.
Because I looked at it, but I was like,
what channel? What channel?
I watched it on Prime, but
Yeah,
I
that's
think
where I
it's
would watch it.
MGM Plus.
I have that as
said
well.
you only get. Yeah, they were like, oh, only the first one free, but I watched 2 episodes, and it is good. Like I thought of Walton. Literally, because I know our Pendragon stuff is big with you. Oh shit, I'm dropping stuff. It's really good. It's violent. It's not very magical. It's very more druid and this and that, but it's a really good show. It's a
because
really
they had a
show.
suspicious amount of women on the
there's a part
on the cover or whatever.
guy.
That's too many women.
You're not a fan of the Mists of Avalon, are you, Matt?
I don't
You'll
know what
probably
that
like it
is.
because they don't treat women very well in this show. So you
Okay.
I love
I'm
everything Marion Zimmer Bradley ever wrote. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I understand that she or her husband was horribly racist or something. And I'm really sorry, but her books are awesome and I can't stop reading them. Sorry.
Now is
But I
she
should
the
say,
one that
too,
wrote this?
Before we move too
well,
far away
she-
from it, the thing.
Go ahead, Martin.
Martina.
We'll talk later.
Well, no, because there was a point you were making before we spun off
please.
into this,
Please.
and that was about why don't you talk about this stuff more often?
Yep.
But see, the thing about it is that people don't understand is that they're putting it into this stuff, which
Yes.
is the reasons why we started deviating in the first place.
Mhm.
It's like I did a video about a long time ago. Anyway, it was about how they hijacked Sesame Street. They had Elmo pushing the jab on kids.
I remember that.
I can't wait to get mine. And I did a video about it, and somebody reported me and had the video taken down and all that stuff.
What?
But oh yeah. I mean,
what was the excuse for taking it down, Mark?
YouTube?
Bad Elmo impression?
Maybe.
So why did they-
I
why
actually,
did they make it-
the Elmo impression I did wasn't as good as the one I did in the video. I did a perfect Elmo in the video, but yeah, everybody was mad at. Well, some of my subs were mad at me. Most of them understood, but a couple of them were mad because they felt like I was. I don't know. I was leading people astray, and this was going to save their lives and all of this stuff. Everyone was drinking the Kool-Aid back then.
You're so dangerous.
So, yeah. So the video got taken down, and YouTube sent me one of those nice little letters of explaining why I can appeal. I appealed. They denied it, so I took it over to Rumble where it is now. Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
We can't ignore it because what did they have, like a special X-Men Avengers comic that they put out there? Pushing it on kids and stuff.
What,
so
like the threesome or the gay Wolverine?
Just like that, So if they're weaponizing this stuff against us, then why can't we defend what it is that we love in the first place? They're turning everything that we love against us. So of course we got to address it to some degree.
Did they ever come out with candy vaccines like they did with cigarettes for the kids?
Candy vax?
Don't give them any ideas, Matt.
Dude, I used to love those candy cigarettes.
They were so good.
I should have known. Yeah, this is another one where you're starting to see more base, I don't know, more base actors, which is nice to see for once. Like Mads Mikkelsen, I guess his name is, and maybe they're not even base. They're just like they're getting to the point where they're like, oh my God, enough is enough. So this is him getting asked a question. So I will watch this right here.
This is a cast and a Danish production, which is entirely Nordic. It therefore has some lack of diversity, you would say. Applied.
What? No, wait. Give the journalist credit. You find out later on in the interview that he thinks this is BS.
Okay.
Asking the question.
He's got to.
What are your response to the people that are criticizing you because of this?
All right. Well, I just want people to make sure they didn't miss that. So we'll listen to it again. And I don't know if I have the full clip. It's only 21 seconds, but here you go.
This is a cast and a Danish production, which is entirely Nordic. It therefore has some lack of diversity, you would say. Applied in Hollywood.
Are you on to?
Yeah, sorry, but
From the get-go.
From the get-go, there is some. Okay.
Well, first of all, the film takes place in Denmark in the 1750s.
I love those guys. Yeah, it's just, and even then, why did he ask the question? If he doesn't even he's being forced to write about something he doesn't believe. I thought journalists and reporters and the news are supposed to be the watchdogs for us. And really, they're all just in bed because they're scared of losing their jobs when you can make money online.
I think the point Tina was making was that even the journalist, you said, asking the question,
that's
didn't
what I'm
believe
saying. He doesn't believe, then why?
But well, like Mark was saying, you got to talk about these things.
Yeah, it's being brought up by other people. So he's like, listen, this is being brought up by. He could have worded it better, but English is probably not any of their
Danish
first language. What the fuck do they speak? Who cares? Anyway,
Danishese.
Danishese.
Tina, what were you saying?
Oh, exactly what they're saying. Like, what's your response to the people who are complaining about lack of diversity?
Yeah.
In this movie, because the cast is entirely white.
In a Danish movie.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it means they're not eligible for any Oscars. That's for sure.
That was also part of
There you go.
Yeah, it also doesn't have any, childlike prostitutes in the film either. So I mean, of course, it's not going to be.
Well, no movie will be perfect.
Yeah. Oh God. that was messed up. I almost agreed with you because I wasn't listening.
It's like going to watch Boys in the Hood, and you see Greg, Bobby, and Peter come walking out, from the Brady Bunch. It's like, it doesn't go. You know what I mean?
Mark,
it's like, let's be realistic.
Okay, I know you're not being serious, but I would 100% be into that movie.
I would too. Like they walk out to the car, they're like, "We're just going out to do a drive-by."
Oh no, I thought just put them in the hood, like, you know what I mean? There wouldn't be enough windows to roll up.
Peter in the hood. Yeah, Alice would have a hard time over there. I'll tell you that.
She had a badass. Who didn't want Alice? You didn't? No, you guys didn't think she was hot?
What?
What?
No.
The maid?
You know she got
Listen,
Pookie
hey.
back there.
There was a picture of very young Alice that was out there because she used to be a dancer or something like that, and she had nice legs. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
That was before the Brady Bunch.
Yes, very
Yeah.
before.
I like the
Before.
movies, man. I think the movies are hilarious.
They are good.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
what, 2 or 3 of them.
2. That's what I want to see. Like that movie, but instead of it taking place wherever they live, it takes place in Compton.
Oh, man.
That would be awesome. Now,
I think
Gary,
I'll go for a walk today now.
I think that carjacking
Oh,
scene would have
man.
been a little bit different in Compton.
You fellas need a ride? What
There
were
there
you
was a
thinking?
show years ago on Amazon. I think it was one that Jordan Peele had produced. I can't remember the exact name. I'll have to think of it here in a second. But kind of the premise was it was set in Compton in like the 1950s when it was like still a majority white neighborhood. And the story they were trying to tell was about, oh, look at how awful and racist these white people were in 1950s to all the black people. But the story they accidentally told was how much better Compton was in the 1950s versus what it is now when it was majority white. And needless to say, it only lasted 1 season and it was canceled immediately once they realized their error.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You can also
yeah.
add in like the influx of drugs from the CIA and shit like that too. But
Exactly.
Well,
it all-
they were going back to like the Watts
reasons.
rights days. Like this is way before like the CIA conspiracies. So
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
But this is another one. So that I think, I don't know who was talking about this show where they race swapped and gender swapped was it Vikings Valhalla, where they have this?
It was Valhalla, yeah.
Yeah, it's Valhalla, where this is the character. They actually swapped from 975. He was the ruling Viking for Norway from 975 to 995. So they make her a female black woman and
What they
explain it
did
because
was-
she was a slave. Her father was a slave or something first, and then she was freed.
What
or-
they
I
did
don't
was
know.
they said he was dead and that's his wife, and she took the role
that
of him during that time.
so there were a
Nice.
lot of North African slaves in
Well,
Yeah.
apparently, like
Denmark
the
and
story,
Norway.
well, the story was is that he had was on a raid in Africa and then met her and they got together.
They
Oh,
What year was this?
975.
975. I
Oh, yeah.
I thought they were big into England at that point. You know,
No, the
like
Vikings were all over the place. They were in the
were,
Mediterranean. Yeah, in North Africa.
975 they were. I'm just
I believe
wondering
they were
if
still raiding around that time. Yeah, they're still
okay,
raiding.
down. I thought actually it was a little early for them to go that far. You know, because once they hit England, they're like, "Oh, France," and then they were like, "Let's just keep going." I just thought that was a
Well,
little
their boats were
early.
designed to travel down river and ocean, so
Yeah, no, I know that.
they went
I
as
know
far.
that.
They went everywhere they could.
I watched documentaries too, Wallen. Something
Don't
else
call
we
me out,
wanted-
Scott. I looked smart for a second. Just a
You
second.
really did. You're way better at saying it. I'm like, the Jarl, he ruled. So here's another one that I wanted to talk about, and I think it's an important one to talk about, not just for what they're doing for their friend, but what Scientology has done for decades now, covering
dude.
up.
Shit.
Yeah.
I know way too much about Scientology. I went down a rabbit hole for quite a while.
Oh
Okay.
God, I can't
Even
wait
spoke
hear
to
you say that.
a Scientologist once. That was interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
So do you know much about, them covering up his rapes?
Him
Or,
specifically?
like-
No, I didn't
Well,
know.
no, but people in the church getting it covered up, talking to these girls, telling them, like
It was all for Xenu.
Numu or whatever their god, alien is,
Xenu.
won't love you.
Yeah,
Xenu,
right,
thank you.
Xenu, yeah.
Xenu
Xenu.
won't love you because you tattled.
Well, okay, no, that's not exactly how it works. It's
Oh.
more of a self-preservation because all they have to go on is, they don't have any doctrine to speak of, so it's more their represent
It's gonna evolve, man.
their
It's an evolve. You got to be like a high level person to see their documentation.
yeah. You have to be OT level 13 or higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Don't come
gotta-
at me with that shit. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
All right, bro, come on and come with it.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
let's do
keep
it
going.
then. Shit, I've been clear since '97.
and they make most of their money over the fact that you're required to purchase all of this education.
Right.
Yeah, you've got to have
It's a pyramid scheme.
You've got to have the spirits removed, the evil spirits removed from your body.
The Thetans, yes.
Yeah, the Thetans. Yeah, thank you.
Oh
Got a lot of that in me.
Yeah, you got to get on the E meter.
I mean, isn't Scientology is basically like a giant blackmail organization anyway? Like
That's
it really comes down.
that's
to
part of it. That's how they got their the whole reason they have their exemption as a religion is because they were blackmailing people. In fact, it was to the point to where they went. I forgot what country it was. Some European bullshit. They hired some chicks. I think it was Operation Snow White, something. Anyway, sent these chicks in these go-go pants and shit to go and steal information from this office of what organization? I can't remember the organization because of the time. Hubbard and his people were on the Sea Org because they were banned from all these different countries and wanted, so they decided to hang out on the Sea Org.
Yep.
Yeah, they're like the writer of their whole, religion.
Dianetics.
Yeah, dude, Ron Howard just bought a boat and was like, I'm not paying my taxes and took off.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
But it wasn't.
Do we have any Scientologists in the chat?
Yeah.
Maybe we should be asking that. Are there any Scientologists in the chat?
That's a good
number
question.
one.
Yeah.
We're obviously a progressive person, so I can't imagine there would be.
Oh, you have one near you. Yeah, my aunt, she went from religion to religion for a long time. She was a hippie, 60s and stuff, and she tried out, but she was a Scientologist. I'll never forget it because she was into computers way before anybody else. And dude.
That has nothing to do with Scientology.
No, because she was able to find it on message boards.
Oh, okay.
So why don't you shut up before I'm done, okay, guys? All right, so she found out about it through message boards, and that was one way because Scientology was smart about following the technology trends, and they had a lot of people that were kind of dorky or involved in Hollywood, so they were very technical that helped them grow. And then was that David? Was it Musgraves?
Yeah, I know the guy.
Yeah,
the new leader of the Scientology that took over.
Yeah. When he took over. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. When he took over and it became like a Tom Cruise thing, like it just became Hollywood. A lot of people felt like that was the only way in. And young actors like this that, had, I don't know, tendencies to take advantage of people, and shit and rape them. If they were famous enough, they would cover this shit up. And now he's finally paying his dues. People are attacking, Kutcher and
Mila Kunis.
Yeah, for writing letters, but that's a friendship thing.
Yeah,
you really need to look at Scientology.
I thought Ashton Kutcher was in Scientology.
I don't know.
I mean, I may be incorrect. I just assumed when I talked about this on a previous stream, I assumed that the 3 girls that had accused him of assault were actually 3 girls who had left Scientology. I figured it might have been kind of a part of their cleansing kind of thing. It's like, okay, I'm finally away from the religion and I can, accuse him of
probably. You want to read a little bit?
That's true. I'm more than happy to if you'd like.
I love you for that. All right, go for it.
All right. Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis were 2 of more than 50 people who wrote to the judge in the Danny Masterson sexual assault trial to support the convicted actor ahead of his sentencing, per court documentations obtained by Variety. Kutcher and Kunis, who are married and share 2 young children, starred with Masterson in Fox's sitcom That 70s Show, which ran for 8 seasons and 200 episodes between 1998 and 2006. Kutcher then starred with Masterson in Netflix The Ranch. My husband loves that show. Masterson was written out of the show in its 3rd season after being accused of sexual assault in 2017. Kutcher and Kunis wrote letters in an effort to urge the judge for a lesser sentencing. In Kutcher's letter, he referred to Masterson as a role model. In Kunis's letter, she vouched for Masterson's exceptional character and referred to him as an outstanding older brother figure. Interesting. Masterson had been facing 30 years to life, which is the maximum sentence allowed by law. His defense was asking for 15 years to life, so those who wrote letters to the judge were likely aware that he would be getting at least 15 years in prison. On Thursday, he was sentenced to the maximum 30 years to life in downtown Los Angeles. He will be eligible for parole when he is 77 years old.
Wow.
Other stars, yeah, no kidding. Other stars from the '70s show wrote the judge include Deborah Jo Rupp, who played Kitty on the sitcom, and Kurtwood Smith, who played Red. Masterson's famous family members wrote letters in his support, including his siblings Alana Masterson, Christopher Masterson, and Jordan Masterson. Last Man Standing. Oh, I love that show. Best show ever.
Who is Alana Masterson on The Walking Dead? Who does she play?
She was.
Isn't that what's her name?
She's like kind of the funny one, dark hair, short dark
That doesn't
hair,
help.
gay, I think, in the show.
I mean, later
get a
seasons
picture
they
of
were
her.
all gay.
I know who she is in the show, but
she got beheaded. Damn.
Was she one that ate that fucking turtle?
She ate a turtle.
Wasn't
That's
it
what-
her and her sister that they when they were in the prison? That's where they first met them.
Yeah,
You know,
she
the-
was rolling with she was
governor?
rolling with the governor
Yeah.
at first.
I'll find a picture after this.
Yeah.
So
I think Christopher Masterson was, I think, the oldest brother in Malcolm in the Middle.
Yep.
And Jordan Masterson, I think, is the one who fathered the baby with the oldest daughter.
I just tried to copy and paste from the screen, trying to highlight
Oh,
that
that
name.
work well for you?
You
As
know
well as
it didn't.
brother-in-law Billy Baldwin and his wife, the actor and model Bijou Phillips. Other Hollywood names were
Oh, sorry.
There's
Yeah, I know
always
which
a
one she is.
Baldwin
She's the one that was a cop or some shit before The
Right.
Walking Dead, or was in the academy.
right,
Yeah. She was a lesbian. Yes.
right. And she was around for a while too. I mean,
Yeah.
when
Longer
they were
than
at
she
the
should have
hill.
been,
and-
yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm glad we
Wish I
figured
could
that out.
Man,
remember her name.
that show, I've never seen mothers so willing to give up on their kids to go do what they want to do. Like Michelle, she's
No.
like, I don't need to go back to my kids. I need to go find Rick.
Yeah, so she left her 2 kids,
Yep.
young kids.
They're like, Uncle
Yeah.
Daryl will take care of them.
See, I
Then
stopped
Daryl
watching
left.
after a while.
A lot of
The
people
guy with
did.
The Kingdom, the Kingdom was just getting introduced. My wife loves that show.
Man,
I
it gets
just-
so bad. towards
I
the end,
fell
bro.
off after the season they introduced Negan, and then I came back and watched like the very last episode, and I couldn't tell you what the hell happened between that episode and like
All
the
I know
very
is
final
this.
episode.
Is it and spoilers? I guess for a show I don't even know if I'm correct about, The Walking Dead, but didn't what's his name got his head beat in by Negan?
And,
Glenn, yeah.
yeah.
Glenn.
And
But
Abraham.
didn't Maggie end up like being friendly with him at the very end?
They have their own spin-off show now.
Tara, there
Maggie
it
and Maggie and Negan have their own spin-off show. In New
Yeah,
York,
but it's like
so.
the Odd Couple. They're like, oh, I can't like him because he murdered my baby daddy.
But damn, he's fine. Yeah.
They're totally gonna hook up. Absolutely.
Right. That's so
Mhm.
wrong. so wrong.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So wrong.
Just goes to show you. No offense, Tina. Just goes to show you, women ain't shit, bro. I tell you.
no offense taken. Trust me.
He literally bashed your husband's head in, and she's gonna sleep with him. She is.
Yeah,
She
Glenn,
is.
Glenn somewhere looking up and being mad as hell.
Man, I want that to be the show T-shirt of the night. Women ain't shit.
On Sporting News Podcast.
In a lot of ways, men ain't shit either. But I'm just saying, in this particular case, women ain't shit. Boy,
Yeah.
I tell you.
And
Yeah.
I can't. Okay. There is a very, small group that she can pull from. But you know what? The dude who crushed your husband's head, the love of your life.
The man that made you a single father, a single
Right,
mother.
you're single mother. Maybe you shouldn't go after him. That's,
There's things you
know?
just don't do. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know the guy has, he's swag, but whatever. All right. Tina?
In Kutcher's letter, he writes, while I'm aware that the judgment has been cast as guilty in 2 counts of assault by force and the victims have a great desire for justice, I hope my testament to his character is taken into consideration in sentencing. I do not believe he is an ongoing harm to society, and having his daughter raised without a present father would be a tertiary injustice.
Kutcher trying to sound
Thank
smart.
you. Injustice in and of itself. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Kunis's letter adds, I wholeheartedly vouch for Danny Masterson's exceptional character and the tremendous positive influence he has
You
had
never
on
tried to
me
rape me.
and the people around him. His dedication to leading a drug-free life and the genuine care he extends to others make him an outstanding role model and friend. Both Kuchar and Kunis wrote about Masterson's drug-free lifestyle and noted he was a positive force in their lives. During the trial, prosecutor said Masterson drugged women before assaulting them. Well,
But
of
he
course,
never
he's
took the
drug-free
drugs.
He never
himself.
took the drugs, of
Exactly.
course.
Exactly.
Leading by
Uh,
example.
One of the most remarkable aspects of Danny's character is his unwavering commitment to discouraging the use of drugs. His influence on me, I'm a homemaker, I'm assuming
Yeah.
they mean, in this regard has been invaluable, Kunis wrote. In an industry where the pressures and temptations of substance abuse can be overwhelming, Danny played a pivotal role in guiding me away from such destructive paths. His dedication to avoiding all substances has inspired not only me, but also countless others in our circle. Danny's steadfastness in promoting a drug-free lifestyle has been a guiding light in my journey through the entertainment world and has helped me prioritize my well-being and focus on making responsible choices.
The only
Yeah.
pressure is
Yeah.
drugs on the victim.
I mean, well, it's kind of one of those things, you know. I mean, he has been prosecuted for this, so like, he's like telling you not to do them, and oh, don't do drugs while he's doing it to other people. It's like the Cosby effect. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Called cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
Very
word.
sad. Kuchar wrote, I attribute not falling into the typical Hollywood life of drugs directly to Danny. He continued, any time that we were to meet someone or interact with someone who was on drugs or did drugs, he made it clear that it wouldn't be a good person to be friends with. I am grateful to him for that positive peer pressure. Variety
He's
has
lying.
reached out.
Yeah.
Kuchar and
Anytime
Kunis
I slept over his house, I slept really hard. I like 12 hours.
Best rest of a lifetime. Variety has
There's
reached
one
out
thing that we don't approve of here in Hollywood. That's drugs and fornication. So
Right.
Right. Come on. Come
Exactly.
on.
Tony Ortega, a prominent journalist who regularly covers Scientology and extensively covered Masterson's case, was first to publish the letter in full on his Substack page. Masterson was charged in 2020 with 3 counts of assault from alleged incidents that took place between 2001 and 2003. His 2022 court case ended in a mistrial in December. The judge opted to retry the case, and Masterson faced a second trial this year, which ended in him being counted of 2 counts of assault. He was sentenced to 30 years in prison on September 7th. Speaking to Esquire on January 2023, Kuchar said he wanted Masterson to be found innocent of the charges brought against him. However, he stressed that he didn't mean he wanted Masterson off the hook for alleged crimes. Kuchar just hoped that Masterson's alleged behavior wasn't true because Masterson was such a mentor for him throughout his career. Ultimately, I can't know, Kuchar said in the time about the outcome of Masterson's trial. I am not the judge, I am not the jury, I'm not the DA, I'm not the victim, and I'm not the accused. And so in that case, I don't have a space to comment. I just don't know. At the sentencing, the 3 Jane Does in the case told the judge that Masterson's crimes had ruined their lives and asked the judge to give Masterson life behind bars. Masterson did not speak in his sentencing.
So,
Danny is an amazing father, according
okay,
to his
time
wife.
out. Take a
Sure.
break because I just want to know what was actually involved in the
feel free.
charges. So
Absolutely.
I don't care how all these people wrote letters. Whatever.
That's really fine.
All right, so that's not there. Does anybody know? Like, I mean, I know he was, but like the actual like, I guess he was drugging these girls. They were definitely Scientologists. Do we know that?
That was my assumption, so that is definitely not a fact.
What he did, Scott, was he gave drugs to women and then put his wiener inside them without their permission. That's what happened.
Oh, apparently.
We got
2 counts of forcible.
So it would be the human equivalent of Miracle Grow. Is that what you're saying, Steven?
I don't understand that reference, but I'm
Well,
say,
because
okay.
you give trees drugs, Miracle Grow, and then you put your wiener in them.
I do not.
But in this case, it would be the human equivalent of Miracle Grow.
I don't understand where this went. What? This is a serious topic.
I don't know. I was on Twitter. I was half listening.
Apparently,
stand
he
by it,
also assaulted his ex-girlfriend too, along with the 3 women who charged him.
Oh.
So.
All right, so
I'm sorry. What was that? You said, Tina?
That he also assaulted his ex-girlfriend in addition, or his ex-girlfriend accused him of assault in addition to these 3 women. And I'm sure that they assumed it was going to be difficult to win the case against the girlfriend.
I know.
It says charges came. I'm sorry, different article. Charges came after
Okay.
a 3-year investigation by the LA Police Department. Prosecutors did not file charges in 2 other cases because of insufficient evidence. So now this is easily 5, possibly 6 women.
Oh my lord!
But,
really?
Yeah. Nobody talks about the details though.
Yeah, I'm wondering. Like these girls must, because the girls do bring up like in the article I just X'd out, like Scientology, kind of like I don't know, shit. What did they say? It was like not abusing them, but following them, threatening them, trying to persuade them not to, go along with this case. So I'm wondering if these girls were in it.
Here you go. Sorry, found another
Oh, no,
article.
please.
3 of the 5 alleged victims were Scientologists, which is a church that blah, 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 since he was a childhood. The 2 accusers, they give their names, previously dated the star. So it was 2 ex-girlfriends and 3 other women.
Damn.
And that is crazy.
I know a lot of people don't like her, but like Leah Remedy from King of Queens, like she's been like trying to let everybody know. She's like screaming from everywhere. She has a show about it. Like they literally follow her around. Like she'll pull over and try to like confront them. Like this group just will not let go of people. Like it's weird.
No,
it's
weird.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's weird
it's
how
usually how
involved
cults
they get.
work.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. Like, but technically they're not a cult. So
Go ahead, Matt.
Technically, I guess if your technicality
By
is on
law.
a legal basis.
Yeah,
but,
that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Legally, they aren't one. Matt, were you gonna say something?
No. I mean, they have very cult-like tendencies, but so do the Mormons. I got you.
Okay.
I had this. I think I've already said this before, but I had this this professor that called the Mormons the cult that made it.
I now feel even sorrier for the women because in another article it says they also described the fallout they suffered after they accused an quote-unquote untouchable member of the Church of Scientology.
See,
Hell,
I
Crazy.
definitely would believe them. That
we still don't say with when Lena's show, there's footage of her being stalked. So
Right.
it's not like it's just a baseless allegation. There's evidence of this happening, and countless reports from people who have been threatened, harassed, stalked, lost their livelihoods by the Church of Scientology.
Really, the only reason she got kind of pushed out and decided to leave was because she asked questions about the leader's wife, where she's been. Like it's just a weird story of hers. What do you are knowing there, Tina?
Ever since Jane Doe #1 said she acknowledges Mother's Day by rereading an old letter she got from her mother, which by the way hasn't talked to her because she's now a suppressive person, and her mother stayed with Scientology. The Masterson accuser described how she was not able to find her underwear after the assault and how she smelled of vomit. She said that after reporting the assault, she lost pretty much everything, including many of the people who were once her friends. She said at age 29, she had nothing and had to start over.
Yeah.
I mean,
So we can all agree this is her fault, right?
I wasn't even listening, but I agree.
Like
Try to
it's
see
one of
who's
those.
paid attention.
It's so. You could always manage that Matt, or know that Matt hasn't. The thing that I find crazy is that like even if her family, like one of these girls, leaves Scientology and her family stays in, they just cut her out. Like your own daughter, I couldn't imagine being a father and being like, yeah, sorry she left. She got to be a liar. Danny Masterson, what a good guy. It's messed up, man.
I mean, he just has the eyes of a dude that's gonna rape you. You know what I mean?
Right.
His look says, "Don't, cover your drinks."
Oh,
Damn.
here's one last piece I have to share. Jane Doe number 3 said she has been married for 14 years but can't bear to sleep beside her husband because of what happened. I regularly wake up with deep bruises
sounds
and
like a happy
scratches on
marriage.
my hands and arms. In 2017, I punched a hole in the wall behind my bed during my
No,
sleep.
you didn't.
I'm always fighting monsters.
That's
God.
some little. Oh man, no.
No, that's true. You go through
Artistic.
severe trauma. You have nightmares.
Oh yeah, wait a minute, Walton, speak. He
Oh
knows
yeah,
all
yeah.
about this
Tell
stuff.
me about the trauma, about
What?
living
No,
with
I'm
trauma.
just saying, like that's a hell of a that's a hell of a thing for a person to endure if they've gone through
I mean,
something.
No, true.
It was the
I
literary-
Was sexually assaulted in college. I was sexually assaulted in college, and I still have nightmares about it.
My issue with what she said was how
I know.
grandiose it kind of
You want
was.
the shovel?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I don't give a shit.
14
No,
years,
it was
you
just
can't
so
sleep.
dramatic. It was written by a writer to be written. Does that make sense? It
I
was
get the
written,
14 years not sleeping next to her husband, like.
but it was just
you
the way
wouldn't
that
go-
she said it. And like, I fight
Yeah,
with
no.
monsters every night. It's so pretentious in a sense.
Here's the thing, like
to blame the victim,
whenever
asshole.
I hear like this shady stuff that goes on within these Hollywood circles, I ask myself, it's like we can clearly agree that there's bad people here, but is there any really good people in this scenario? When you talk to like this entire inner circle, I mean, I think everyone in this whole thing is bad to a certain degree. Some worse than others, we all agree. But I mean, when you're in a place where you're next to people who have money and fame, and there's morals just go out the window. It's basically all I'm saying here, and this is what
Slender
allows
guy.
environments like this to happen in the first place. So
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
when
it
comes
sounded
to
very
showbiz,
prepared.
Yeah, we all have to remember they are not us. These people live a totally like different reality. So we can't relate to them. And they really can't relate to us. I mean, it's just the way it is. So it's crazy, so there's always going to be more to the story.
yeah, because it's always in situations like this where they try to make it seem like, oh, see, this could happen to anyone. It's like, can it though? I mean, this specific situation where we're talking about, the antennas of a demonic Scientology cult and the stuff that they're into. Can this really just happen to anyone? Is this more specific to or more prevalent in your specific industry here?
Right.
Like what Tina was saying is that first of all, I am sorry that you had that experience,
Yes.
Tina. That's you can't gloss over
It
that.
lives with you.
It's terrible, and these people know about that. So a lot of times they will use that. And I'm not saying that that's what happened in this case, but when you look at showbiz and Hollywood and stuff like that, they know how to turn the pain and suffering of us normal people, and they can use that themselves, to gain the sympathy of the people, the court of law.
Right.
I mean, the
and to
court
bring-
of public opinion.
And to bring something else into this, like even in the Catholic Church, like the idea that a religion, both of them considered, I don't care, cult, whatever, they could both be cults, I don't care, religion that these people are in where they believe it's supposed to be bettering them. And then all of a sudden you're being sexually assaulted and then told not to talk about it. It's covered up, maybe threatened. They just moved, the Catholic Church just moved priests around, what's better, they're both terrible. And it's a horrible thing that these girls must have gone through. I understood where you were coming from, Mad, though, like the way she said it. But like after 14 years, I'm asking you, because I've had my own things in my life too that stayed with me for a very long time. But like you have to, I don't know how to express 14 years as a husband. I would be like, could we work through this at therapy or something where I can maybe lay in the bed next to you? I don't know. That sounded like that's crazy that it's, I don't even know how to say this without sounding like such a dick. But
well, I mean, I could see someone suffering the trauma and not going through therapy. Maybe you're right, not working through it because, you're right. I mean, I can't imagine being married to somebody for that long and then.
Yeah, like what type of husband are you?
Exactly.
Not helping her, like, I'll just sleep in the other room. I don't know.
Maybe
you know something too.
Not sleeping with her is helping her. I was with a woman who had a delayed reaction to a sexual assault. She had a kid with got her pregnant. during the assault, and then when the kid started displaying features that looked like the person that did it, she went into a delayed reaction PTSD. And so there was, for a time, we couldn't do it. We couldn't have anything. We couldn't be personal with one another because she had to work through that. So as the way that I looked at being a supportive boyfriend was to give her that time so that she could heal and work through that experience on her own. And we did not sleep in the same room, and we did not have sex.
For how long?
For years.
Yeah. This
About
is a 14-year marriage. You know, like I'm just saying, it's part of marriage to work through things together to have that connection. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I understand that.
They're hurting themselves by not working through it. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say.
People are affected with things differently. I'm sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, a lot of the problems too with these religious environments is that it also tends to be an open secret. You know, people actually do know, but they're not going to talk about it, you know, because it is, you know, like I know in a lot of these hoods out here, you wouldn't believe some of the shit that these pastors are doing. Like, you know, they're messing with the wives and the husbands and the kids, and they're taking their money. You know, and it's the most disgusting thing you'll ever see in your life. You wouldn't believe it, you know, but there it is. Everybody knows about it, but it's become such a culture, you know, of secrecy and just not talking about it.
And not wanting to hurt the religion as a whole, because it would be a bad reflection on that. So we got to keep it a secret because we don't want it to reflect poorly on what we believe.
Yeah. But it does the opposite when it comes out, because if you're, you know, a belief system that is built on healing or, you know, a connection with divine, then you would want to fight evils, not hide them, not suppress it.
But people, there's that herd mentality that when you're in just a church, you know what I mean? Like where you know these people for years, maybe even generational type thing. You know, in my church at one point when I was probably early teens to late teens, one of our ministers and the choir director, they were found out to be having relationships with young men. Not me, I guess I wasn't good looking enough, but not even like 10.
We could tell you that.
I mean, can you send them a letter to ask them so you can let this go? Just, hey, I don't know if you remember me.
I just want to point this out just real quick, that this is literally a plot line of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, where like Mac believed that the kids at school were being molested. He was upset that he was the one kid that didn't get molested.
Messed up. But I laugh about the worst things. But like it happens in the worst place where children, women, like they're supposed to feel safe. And human nature is not, you know, it's there's an evil person doing something, we should not ever cover it up. That's
like I said, every evil organization in the world has always tried to cover up the truth, and if you're part of an organization attempting to cover up, you may have to reevaluate your situation. Let's just put it that way. So.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you, Katina. Do you, Tina, we didn't even give you a chance to say anything on this topic. Do you have any thoughts on anything we just discovered that you talked about, you read, anything, Walton?
My only thoughts for the is the fact that, you know, he's assaulted at least 5 women. You know, 5
allegedly.
women accused him.
No, he's
Allegedly.
convicted, so it's no longer allegedly.
Okay,
he's
convictedly.
Convicted of assaulting 2. One he didn't get convicted for. The other 2 they didn't prosecute because there wasn't enough evidence. And I mean, those are the women that I feel the most sorry for, because it is very, very difficult to come forward and say, yes, I did all this stupid shit to put myself into this situation, and then be able to say, yeah, pretty much you asked for it. But I mean, they're not saying it that way. But be able to say, you know, we can't prosecute someone for this situation because of all of, you know, the mistakes that happened beforehand. So I can only, you know, relate to how those women might be feeling. And then the however many other, I mean, if it happened 5 times, what are the chances it didn't happen 15 times? You know, I mean, I know that's a horrible assumption to make about someone's character, but, you know, there's a good chance it was. So it's heartbreaking.
It's terrible. So let's end it on something all right. instead of talking about crappy TV and movies and what they're doing with it, what are you guys watching right now that you're enjoying? I brought up The Winter King. I caught the first episode of One Piece, which
I love that. I'm loving that show.
It's a lot like the anime. I mean, it's
I don't
sticking
give a shit
very
about that.
close. It's sticking very close to the anime, so just kind of crunching it up.
Well,
a little bit
I'm
better,
watching
but-
dudes punch each other in the face right now because I don't
Okay.
watch regular TV. So
Hey, we
it's
at the.
just-
Is it at the main card?
No, it's still
Okay.
prelims right
Okay.
now.
Guys,
it's
talk about it somewhere else.
Some
Come on.
Korean dude is like bleeding from his face right now.
Oh, yeah,
I guess
that's
that's a
great.
simple
So
thing.
what I was
I guess
saying
that's a
was,
simple one.
no, you guys can both sit back there. What are you guys watching now, TV wise? Not fights, don't, because I was scared he was going to talk about that other one.
Oh yeah.
What are you
You
guys
mean the
watching?
guy
like-
who said the word that rhymed with maggot on
Yeah,
television?
a lot, to the fans. What
On
I know,
ESPN.
Mark, you've been watching One Piece. How you liking it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just finished it earlier today, and I have to say, that shit was good, man. It's like I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
You know, it was fun. Go ahead, Matt.
Sorry, I was just blown away
Interrupt
because
him,
I said I'm sorry. I didn't mean
I know
to.
you did. I know.
But I was blown away that because the one that plays Kobe, that is a chick who thinks that they're used to be a chick. Anyway, but in the episode we just watched today, this Asian girl had a whole speech about like, at my age I can compete with the boys, but a man can never become a woman, and a woman can never become a man. You will all be stronger than me. You will all have longer arms, faster, so I will never be able to compete with you at that level. And I'm like, holy shit, did they really
They
just
went
put
there.
that in the show? It blew my mind away. I was so surprised.
Yeah, because she was beating the guy because
Yeah.
they were training, and she was better than him. But like Matt is saying, it was because they were still young. Because they were still young and not fully grown, she was able to best him. But she was like, "Listen, there's gonna come a time, like he's saying, you're gonna get bigger than me, stronger than me. Your arms, you have more reach, and no woman can compete with a man on that level."
Yep.
So that was deep.
Oh, so I haven't watched that episode, but you're talking about what's his name with the 3 swords, right?
Zoro.
Yeah, Zoro. Yeah, because I've watched a lot. I mean, there is so many episodes of the anime. And real quick, Brahma, welcome, my friend. How are you?
Doing good. How are you guys?
Good.
It's no longer your birthday, right?
Happy
No,
birthday
it's not.
weekend.
Oh, happy birthday.
It's still the weekend.
Happy belated
Happy
birthday
birthday,
nobody
man.
told me about.
Thank you.
I wasn't invited. So the anime, I've watched a lot of them, and it's nice to see. What I love about like this live action, from anime to live action, it's not always good, but it doesn't stray from what most of it, the meat of what the anime is. It's not like something where like we, in the Western world, we're taking these beloved books and series we used to love as kids, and they destroy it. Like, that's what I'm really enjoying about One Piece, because it really is sticking close to it, and they address that stuff a lot. The differences in anime doesn't mess around, man. They make tough girls, but they also make sure if they beat a man, there's
They
a reason
keep them
why.
in their place.
Yeah.
Pretty much, but it's the fun of it, is what really gets me, because through the fun, and you get to see them when they go through tough times, you actually care about the characters because they take care to show what motivates them, like their previous lives, flashbacks, things like that. So when you get them in a certain situation, you're surprised to find out that why they're doing it, why they're making the choices that they're making. And for a show like that, I really do appreciate that, because they took the time to do that. And a lot of these things that we're watching today could learn from that type of storytelling.
Right.
So,
Instead of
yeah.
the message, it's about building the characters. Brahma,
Yep.
have you watched any of it?
Haven't watched it yet.
Thanks for.
I've
being
heard
here.
good things.
No, a lot of people seem to be enjoying it.
I'm hearing good things.
I'm
Yeah,
not really
I-
into
I
anime
typically-
all that much, so
I watched Strays. Has anybody seen Strays yet?
No, I was looking at it though.
So
Yeah.
I found it to be breathtakingly hilarious,
Mm-hmm.
and it broke my mind. But I am not in that particular case. I'm probably not the best judge of it, because I altered when I watched it,
You were high. Just say you were high.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was and it broke my mind at one point that these people were reacting to these dogs as if it broke my mind because I can't even explain it, and I lost my shit for the third act because bananas.
So you were high and you saw a bunch of talking dogs on a TV screen.
No, the dogs didn't bother me. It was how people reacted to them that bothered me. It didn't bother me because
they were shocked that there were talking dogs.
No, nobody could hear the dogs.
Oh,
The dogs can only talk to each other.
Yeah.
Oh my God! So only you heard the dogs.
No, hold on, man. Scott, you of all people know that's not a thing with weed.
No, I know. The weed. No.
Yeah.
I've
So
smoked enough in my time. Yeah.
it was a good movie when I watched it. I don't know how it would be for you, but
Yeah.
Well, me and Tina last night talked about My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3, which we saw this weekend. And spoiler alert, not great. Yeah, that's literally.
I didn't even know there was 2.
That's literally what we mentioned last night. It's like nobody even knows that there was a second movie. So every time you heard it's 3, it's like, wait, there was a second one? It's like, yeah, there was on like 7 years ago and nobody watched it. So who thought a part 3 would be a good idea?
Right.
I told you don't watch that, bro. I mean, you couldn't have been surprised that it wasn't good.
No.
Like I keep trying to explain to people, this is literally like people say it like it's a joke. It is literally time in your life that you will never get back, and you knew that movie wasn't going to be.
Put it to you this way: I finally watched Bottoms earlier today, and Bottoms is unironically a better movie than My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. So
of course,
I don't know what Bottoms is, but I kind of like the sound of it.
Yeah,
it's not one of those type of bottoms.
Oh,
well, Mr. Bojan was
so you probably wouldn't like it.
Mr. Bojan was not happy about My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3. He's like, he says it's the worst movie you've dragged me to for streaming purposes.
Oh, he is a straight male. I mean, no.
Yeah. Well,
Mamma Mia 6. Can't wait for it. Yeah, no.
Don't laugh. They're actually doing another one.
Are you? I don't even know.
No way.
Yeah, they are.
All I know is Katina put something good. It was better than Netflix Cowboy Bebop, which, like, that was the wrong way of doing an anime to live action, and this was the right way. That's the way I
the only thing worse than Netflix Cowboy Bebop was Netflix Resident Evil. So I mean, it's not a very high bar.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it was. But back, because we didn't really get into it, The Winter King. I'm telling you guys, give it a chance. I want you guys to at least watch the first 2. You got to watch 2 episodes.
What's it on, Scott?
I got it through Prime, but it's MGM Plus has it. So you maybe get like a free subscription for a month or something like that. I don't know if they have one of those things going on, but I know if you have Prime, I think you get it.
All right, check it out.
Yeah, dude, it was. They don't hold back in this one. Like it's.
I like those types of shit.
Yeah, man, there's one scene in episode 2. You're just like, don't do it. Don't give them, like, we'll talk about it. Like, it's just, know something really bad's going to happen. And then they show it and you're like, holy shit.
All right, I'm going to watch it and then I'll hit you up.
Yeah. It's good. And it's a little bit different take on Arthur. It's less magical, less mythical.
Oh, it's Arthurian lore. Oh, I'm down.
Yeah.
Oh,
like you do have the druid speaking to the gods. Like Merlin is a druid priest. Then you have actual. Right. It's interesting. It's interesting.
Daily Wire just started production on their Arthurian legend take.
Really?
Based on the Stephen Lougheed books, the Dragon Cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So they just started production on that, I think last Thursday.
Really?
Should be pretty good. Yeah.
Daily Wire's trying to make a moves. Go ahead.
Yeah,
please, sorry.
that series was a different kind of take on the whole cycle. And it was a far more Christian take. Stephen Lougheed was Lougheed, I guess, was a Christian author, so it's got a different spin on it.
I mean, it can go either way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the story feels completely different than most of the other Arthurian legends. Because it's more rooted in the actual time period and stuff that was what was going on there. So I think you had the Romans involved a little bit in this one too.
So
it's been a long time since I've read them.
This one is more based more where there's warring tribes. Pendragon the father.
Uther.
Thank you. Uther Pendragon is like the High King, but there's also kings in different tribes, and then they're trying to come together to stop the Saxon invasion. It's good, man. It's I don't know if anybody watched. Oh God, what's the one with Last Kingdom? Is that the one with? Yeah.
Starts with a U, I think.
Yeah. Almost the same thing, right?
Yeah, it'll be similar to that.
Show. Yeah, but it's. I actually thought these first 2 episodes might be a better show than that one. I can't say it's going to be, but I really enjoyed these first 2 episodes. So I thought it was good. Anybody else watching anything else out there?
I just finished
let's address the elephant in the room from last week. Is anybody watching and or enjoying Ahsoka?
My son and I are enjoying it. I wasn't even going to bring it up, man. And the only person I'm talking to about this is Callus, because he understands.
I could feel it. I could feel it.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Callus understands.
About Ahsoka, Steven.
Dude, Callus's videos are some of my favorite. Like he's one of my favorite YouTubers. Yeah. Like his shorts are fantastic. His videos are fantastic. Like really, he's one of my favorite. But
I'm gonna be working on his chapter for the book here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Had a great interview with him. You know, he loves Star Wars, and so
he does. But the acting, I can't get past it. I can't get past like this. There's no emotion. There's like it's just I don't know. There's no feeling to this show. None.
I think that your person gets more feeling or feels connected to it if you've been a fan of like Clone Wars Rebels. You know.
All right, I watched Clone Wars. I watched some of Rebels.
Clone Wars is what my son and I bonded in Star Wars over.
Yeah.
And then it went back to the prequels, and then it went to the OG, which is kind of backwards to me, but that's the way that it happened.
And I get that, Steven.
We watched Rebels together. So
I get that, and I love that you guys are. This is something like, dude. I don't mean. I don't mean anything like breaking that bond,
dude,
but they are not the same characters.
Scotty, I am glad that Az went off about Starfield pronouns this week, so nobody noticed that I liked Ahsoka. All right, nobody cared.
Yeah. All I'm saying is the people from Rebels are not the same. Like they don't act like the same characters. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
No, I mean
the Ahsoka thing. Speaking of my good friend and brother Lord Callus, he just told me straight up and down, Mark, it's not for you. Okay, so I was like, okay, all right. No,
Respect.
I can appreciate that. He knows me well enough to understand. Look, I didn't watch Rebels, and Ahsoka I have no investment in at all. Right. So why should I force myself to watch a show about some character that I feel is obsolete, that I don't care about?
And that's the thing. There it is. That if you're not if you don't, first off, you don't care about the characters, or if you don't know the backstory and you go and watch the show, I'm sure it does come in dry. You're like, I don't get this. I don't understand the connection between these characters.
Yeah, but
that's
not the same Ahsoka.
That should be as far as so who said I was making excuses? Somebody I was streaming with said I was mad. Maybe it was mad. I think that Ahsoka's character overcorrected, like the way that they're presenting her. Like she overcorrected from being a very passionate, wild force wielder into going through, everything that has happened in the Star Wars universe, and now she's trying to be that. She's overcorrecting as far as how closed off she is, or as far controlled that she's being. And I think that hopefully, if the writers do a good job, that's going to change as the Rebels characters come together, interact with each other more, become used to the camaraderie and the energy they once had, and then I think she'll relax. Well, maybe not relax, but be a little bit more the Ahsoka that we were used to seeing.
Okay, but not even there's even like so maybe they're not like fun loving, and as tight as they were in Rebels, but like they're even when they're like confronting each other for the first time, it's like, oh, hello. Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, well, they went through they went through a devastating experience, I guess, to them when they lost Ezra.
Right.
That was the leader of their little band. So they say, from what I'm understanding, the way that the story is being told is that they all went their separate ways, and they kind of lived through the loss in their own way. They kind of sheltered themselves from one another to a degree, which changed their character and how they interact with one another. Because being close as they were at that point would be, even like just facing the depth of the loss of that friend, you know, and that's so
Right.
they're kind of protecting themselves by being that guarded or being that standoffish.
Let me
That's
ask
how I
you,
see it.
Brahma. Brahma, have you watched it? You're muted, brother.
bro.
What a boomer.
I've done it.
Yeah.
Too. It's okay, Brahma.
I haven't watched a single episode of it. I'm already torturing myself enough with Wheel of Time. So
Oh, dude,
Oh,
I watched
I
that
don't-
last
I don't
episode.
need two of the horrible things going at the same time.
Really,
Wheel of
it's
Time
not
not
good.
doing well. I take it.
It's not.
Wheel of Time is horrible.
It's
Is it?
horrible.
That's a
Does not
shame.
resemble the books in any way. The only thing that is the same is they use some of the names of the characters. Outside of that, nothing is happening from the books.
I mean, that's a hell of an expansive universe to try to bring into a series to begin with. So
Mhm.
But they
Well,
had a
they-
whole story laid out. All they had to do is stick to it,
Follow
and they
it.
haven't done any of it. I mean, they keep telling us it's too big for us to be able to cover everything in the books, and then Rafe Judkins keeps bringing in his gay lover that he cast in the show as a character that doesn't exist, and doing episodes around him. And it's like, okay, so we can't actually adapt the actual books, but you can figure out ways to bring in new characters in a book that has something like 4,000 characters, named characters. I mean, it's got an insane amount of named
Yeah,
characters.
it's a massive. And what, 14, 15 books, right?
14 books,
Yeah,
all
okay.
all over 1,000 pages, I think.
Insane. That's an insane
Yeah.
world. And you don't even follow it. That's the worst part. You don't even follow it. It's so stupid. I only
Yeah, Mr.
I only
Bojan
read the
refuses
first book.
to watch it.
What's that now, Tina?
I was sorry, Mr. Bojan refuses to watch it. He saw
Oh, really?
he saw a couple of the trailers and he's like, "No, I love Robert Jordan way too much to."
Yeah.
Yeah. To
It's
do it.
it's bad, and it's going to turn off anybody from ever going and reading the series, because if they're watching the show, if that's what they think that the series is about, it's
Right.
not good enough to attract anybody to go watch or read the books to see what it actually is like, because the show is that poorly made, regardless of whether it's following the story.
that's a damn
Yeah.
shame, and that's why serious adaptations, or at least, I mean, even if they're bad, but if they're done with respect to the material, you know, it's, you can at least forgive whatever's bad about it. But it takes people away from the original creator, author, whoever made that universe. It takes away from the expansive lore and their love for their creation. It really does rob future fandom of being able to enjoy something that, you know, many have before them enjoyed. And that's
Well, and
a
it
shame.
probably robs us of the ability to ever see an adaptation that's good, because
Yeah.
this one's going to fail so hard that why would they take another shot at it anytime in our lives?
When's that
Yeah.
season 2 of the Token Fraud coming out?
2024, late 2024, third quarter or fourth quarter.
Okay.
So we've still got a whole year before we have to deal with that crap.
Just want to let you know, Jacob, you're not allowed to be here next week. Expensive. He said he won't come on unless you're here. Unless you're not here. So,
I'm literally gonna come on the show and say something racist directly to you.
they're worth it. I hope we get a finished product. Shut up, everybody. There's still
All this Game
fundraising-
of Thrones talk. We didn't even talk about how that drunk Sophie Turner left her husband and kid because she wanted to go be a wild child, even though she's married.
Hold
I
on,
know
what
that.
happened? Jacob, what happened?
Yeah.
Oh,
Just for the streets,
Sophie,
bro.
Sophie Turner. Well, actually, it was, what was it, the Jonas thing with Joe Jonas, who was married to her and filed for divorce because she's a alcoholic, likes to go to parties and sleep with other men, and he finally had enough after 4 years of marriage.
I never
so-
understood why he married her when he's more of a, like a faith-based dude. You know, like
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she was always a drunken harlot to begin with. So it's like, yeah, it's not one of those situations where it's like, oh, she changed, man. It's like, no, she was always like that. You should have known from the jump that this
It was
is the
those
situation.
ginger powers.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, she wants to go be a free spirit now. So we'll leave her to the streets where she came.
damn.
Exactly.
Mark of Reality for $2. Thank you very much. Ahsoka isn't really Star Wars. Take the name off. Right. It's, you know, it's Filoni-verse. So,
There it is. Exactly that.
yep. It's a guy.
Filoni-verse, you know.
No, go ahead, please.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying it doesn't work to me
Right.
as Star Wars. It definitely forces her into a story where she really doesn't belong, because if you're taking Heir to the Empire, if you're taking Thrawn and all of that, she's not supposed to be in the middle of all of that. It's like, why is she even interacting with Anakin on any level? I don't care about any what is that, windows
World
of the world,
between
whatever that
worlds.
is, the
Yeah.
world between worlds. All of that crap is not Star Wars, man. You know, you can enjoy it, you know, as just space entertainment and all that stuff, but it really doesn't fit into Star Wars. Now I have a question for Steven, and I want to see if I can get him clipped on this. Would you say that Star Wars is saved right now?
No.
And why not?
No. First off, the Star Wars that we have now isn't what George Lucas wanted, and it isn't. After the sequel, you have to take care of that. You got to get rid of the sequel trilogy. You've got to dig all the way back to Return of the Jedi and give us an entirely new, not entirely new, but like give us back what we had before, something more Legends. I'm not saying you got to follow Legends,
It's called
but
the
give
EU.
Legends. The amount of damage that has been done to the characters, the brand, is too much. And oddly enough, you brought up the world between worlds. That's the only thing that can save it at this point if they continue on their current track. That's the only thing that could. Time travel. It's the only thing that can save this universe.
I wouldn't even accept that because we've seen what we've seen.
I understand, because time travel shouldn't even be in the Star Wars universe. It shouldn't even be there.
It shouldn't be in most of them that they've thrown it into.
Yeah.
I'm tired of that. Tired of multiverses, all of that.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you thought Disney Star Wars is bad, just wait till you get Apple Star Wars. That's gonna be a great time. Oh yeah, there's rumors now that Disney trying to sell up all their debt to Apple, because Apple's like literally one of the only 3 corporations in the world that can buy Disney at this point. So
does Apple have any kind of consistent history on giving us good content?
No.
There's some good shit.
There's
from
been
Apple,
some
man.
okay shows, but not consistent.
No, I mean, but there's sometimes you have to find like these shows because Apple definitely doesn't do well with promoting them. But I found a couple that were good on there. Maybe not sci-fi though, but you know.
Was Ted Lasso Apple?
Yeah.
Kind of
Ted Lasso.
Going back to what Mark was saying, and also Vertical Horizon said in the chat that Thrawn is a galaxy-level threat, that Luke is too busy building a stone hut. Look, the Thrawn that we got in Rebels was not Thrawn. It was not a good representation of that character. And like,
well, real quick, Steven, I don't mean to stop you, but it goes to what you're talking about. That's what pisses me off about this. It's like Filoni literally is ripping off these writers and taking bits of their stories and being hailed as not from you, but being hailed as a genius.
Filoni is no savior. I'm a fan of some of his characters or content, but I'm not a fan of him. And you're right. It's just they beat Star Wars to death. Now they're trying to reanimate this corpse by taking pieces of it and create a Frankenstein's monster of a universe. I'm enjoying what I'm enjoying because my son and I bonded, you know, while he was growing up over these stories, you know, these characters. So we're enjoying it together, and that's kind of where I'm at with it.
I want to put this
universe.
I need to put this over real quick. Can you imagine just the absolute outrage if Saudi actually bought Star Wars? Can you imagine what they would do if Saudi Arabian government came in and just spent like what 5, 6, 7 billion on Star Wars and stole it from Disney?
That would be fucking.
You know, but the trash, the dumpster fire would be entertaining, Jacob. It would be a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, Ahsoka. I'm glad there's that bond between you guys, but it's just not Star Wars. It's not. There's lightsabers. It's not good. Like the jumping on off and like just the whole one where she was jumping on top of the
doing
ship
somersaults
and
on
guys
the ship.
flew so close that she can hit him with lightsaber. Dumb as shit.
The one thing you don't want to do as a pilot of a spaceship is fly into lightsaber range.
Right.
No,
it's not the best strategy. It's not the best strategy.
It's not making sense.
And it's another show with a MacGuffin that is from ancient times, but yet can find the way to somebody from a decade ago. Not as bad as the sequel, but it's still bad. And it's not good. Sabine just I want to see him so bad here. You guys.
I think one of my notes on one of the last episodes was emote, you carrot looking cunt.
I'm sorry. Now I just want to see a $400 million Star Wars film where Obi-Wan Kenobi has been replaced by Prophet Muhammad. That's what I want to see now. I just want to keep this.
But they just blur out his face the entire time.
Right.
Alex, I did forget about the horses in the last one. I totally forgot about the horses. Holy crap.
I saw somebody, I don't even know who it was on Twitter, call Ahsoka a giant Oompa Loompa. With a headpiece.
Yeah, definitely. When she wore that suit, it looked terrible. And I don't know. It's just you just hope for it. I just haven't felt anything from Star Wars in years, and I still give it a little bit of a chance to say, hey, see what they do. But
me and Matt watched the first 2 episodes of Andor, and we were like, maybe, and then no,
and then nope. They lost me, yeah.
I am totally going to take the money and run. Yeah.
Rogue One is the only decent thing that they've done.
Out of Disney? Yes.
Yeah, out of Disney,
and it wasn't even that good.
No.
I liked it. I liked the battle at the end.
Well, remember...
that's what held it up.
Not just the Darth Vader thing, but the whole battle was pretty good.
You have to remember, they completely rewrote Rogue One before it was released. It was supposed to be like a darker wartime setting for Star Wars, and then they shot most of it and realized they didn't like the direction, so they ended up reshooting like the whole thing. If you go back and watch like the very first teaser trailer for Rogue One, 90% of that trailer is not in the movie that got released in theaters.
Yeah. No, you're right on that.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, it was one of those movies where it wasn't great, but you're like, okay, they're at least making something decent.
But then you start juxtaposing that to the other shit that we got from Disney. It makes it a lot better,
Solo.
you know?
It's just the idea of people.
Solo is even better than some of the other shit that they've done.
Not even that was terrible. It was all terrible because there's too many cooks. There's too many people involved. Too many agendas and different views.
Not enough pronouns.
Darth Muhammad. That's great. I don't know.
Neo pronouns.
But we're going to wrap it up because I actually have a day off tomorrow and I'm going to sleep in a little bit. I hope so. I'm going to get a good night's sleep for once. But I thank everybody for coming. Does anybody have anything last they want to talk about that I glazed over?
I just wanted to throw out there that there is officially going to be a Mayor of Kingstown season 3.
Oh yeah,
Jeremy Renner is he's on the mend, and unfortunately they haven't written it yet, so it's going to be a while. But I'm so excited.
I'm on board for that.
I love Renner. I like him. He's not to me. He's not the greatest actor, but he's a good one. He's a solid blue collar worker, so I like him. And I'm glad he didn't die. Because I like his Renovations. That's a good show. Check it out.
It is a really nice show.
Yeah, thank you everybody for being here tonight. Brahma, you're always welcome. Please jump on anytime. It's good to see you on here.
Shut up, Mad.
Yeah. That doesn't even show. He's too cool for school. I wouldn't even show myself anymore.
I got a good night of sleep last night.
Yeah.
I watched a movie with Matt and fell asleep.
This guy's like
10 minutes into it.
This guy goes, hey, it's my birthday. We all have to watch this movie. And so we started watching it. And he saw sleep 10 minutes into it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Get that rest.
First time I've been asleep before 2:00 in like 7 or 8 months. I fall asleep on the night where I'm all by myself in the house. I can do whatever streaming with anybody and fall asleep at like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it was probably the best night's sleep too.
Oh, it was.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. You Australians, don't go too nuts at mini golf.
Or the fight. There's a fight going on too. So.
Hey, where we at in that?
We're in the main card now, so I think the first fight of the night started.
That's so cool. The main card. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Wow.
Good night,
you just had a card.
I really gotta find an intro and an outro for this show.
You really need to turn this the hell down.
I love this song.
What you say, man?
What? I can't hear you over the song.
I totally love Ahsoka.
Rocky.
Oh, not
Aluminum smoke.
She's at McDonald's. The Winter King, please. The Winter King. Maybe we'll just